This is the Kinesis Tko. However, this is one of the best keyboards I've ever used. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Yoni, I'm a self-taught web developer, and today I'm going to be talking about the Kinesis Tko after months of use, and whether or not I really think it's a great keyboard, and spoiler alert, if you can tell by the intro, it's a good keyboard. So, before I start, I'm going to let you know that Kinesis did actually send me this keyboard for review. No, I'm not a sellout, I'm not taking money from Kinesis or anyone. In fact, why would Kinesis want to pay me? But this keyboard, everything I have to say about it is all my thoughts even, and my experience. And I think this keyboard is one of the best keyboards I've ever used. Let's time travel a little bit to the date. September 20th, 2021 at 9 PM, around 9 PM, when I get a notification saying the keyboard is now shipped. I'm like, good, Anakin, good.
Good, Anakin, good.
Anyways, I was very excited to get the keyboard. So, but one thing I was nervous about was, well, see, 60% keyboard on like a regular 65% or bigger doesn't have arrow keys. Arrow keys who? So not having arrow keys is obviously, I was like, what am I gonna do? Now obviously you can press function and keys to get the arrow keys, but I was like, who the fuck uses that? Me. I use it. It's pretty fucking great. Seriously, it's better than regular arrow keys. Now yes, don't get me wrong, as a Vim by the way user, I use a JKL and Control N and Control P Emacs by the way, key bindings for basically anything I can, which is basically everything, because of what programs on Linux don't run like that. In order the fact that this keyboard is used on macOS right now, not Linux. But the thing is when I'm on my macOS, or when I'm Googling something, I want to quickly edit word and a little shift highlight or something, you gotta use the arrow keys there. So this is where the function and IJKL come into play. So at first I was thinking, function, IJKL, that seems to be weird as fuck. But what's happening is basically I'm finding myself pressing the function key feels good. With this pinky, it feels good, real good. It feels good to press the function key with this pinky. And also, for some bizarre reason, was if you game, which why I'd be watching a video about some sort of game keyboard if you don't game? Why? Poke Mario. But if you don't game, if you do game, and you know WASD or walk forwards, left, back, right, something like that, is used for moving around. So IJKL is basically the exact same concept, but on the opposite side of the keyboard. So you press function I, boom, go up. Function K, boom, go down, and so forth. And you can use your brain to figure that one out. I believe in you. You have a brain. So to be honest with you though, pressing with it just feels good. You know what? Pressing the keys. And to be honest with you, whenever I use a 65% keyboard or bigger, I'm like, wait, why the hell do I have to move my fingers all the way to over there just to use the arrow keys? Why can I just use my pinky and IJK out of that bad boy? It's a bit of a scam if I do say so. Like, you have to use regular arrow keys on regular keyboard. Regular keyboard. 60% is a regular keyboard, but to all you people out there that use like full-size memory keyboards, this probably looks like some weird contraption out of space. So I'm loving the 60% form factor and size, along with my custom Dvorak layout. More on Dvorak soon. I use Dvorak, by the way. When I first got the keyboard, what do you think I did? I'll give you 3 seconds to guess. It was either unbox it, play with the keyboard, or toss it aside and never open it. And now, if you guessed unboxing it, you were correct. How can I use the keyboard if it wasn't unboxed? How could we be making a video if I tossed it to the side? So unboxing the keyboard was actually a pretty good experience. What happened was, basically it came in some black box which had the word TKO on the top. This is a Kinesis Tko, by the way. But after you open that, what happens is you get a nice carrying case, which is really nice. So you want to travel with this keyboard, which I guess it's kind of aimed at gamers and stuff. And sometimes gamers are on the road, traveling, doing stuff, okay? Stuff. But when you're traveling on the road, you can put it in a nice little case and you can travel with your beautiful, lovely little keyboard. You can go anywhere you want, which is, it's beautiful. So in the case, there's the keyboard and the cable. More on that cable soon. I know you want to know more about that cable life. Tossing that aside for a minute though, if you look, there's two little slots. There. So I don't remember what was in what slot, but in this slot you had a keycap pillar / a switch pillar in one, both sides. That is genius. Why have no one else? Why? That is genius. Why has no one else done that yet? Seriously, why is that not a thing? Why Kinesis the only one I've done this? That's literally pure genius, and I want other brands to do that. It's pure genius. One tool over having like two different tools. Kinesis, if you're watching this, you're geniuses. And then on this side, there was 5 Cali box reds. On this side, there were 5 Cali box browns, or Cali browns or Cali reds. I don't know, but you know the equivalent of what I've got. So basically, what happens is I wanted to get some Cali whites. Damn girl, they sound good. But what if you want to make your WASD keys, as remember this aim for gamers, linear, or what if you want to make them tactile? Browns are tactile.
Tactile my ass.
So if you were to order reds in the keyboard, then you'd get 5 browns or 5 whites. If you were to order browns, what do you think you'd get? You'd get 5 reds and 5 whites. Mind blowing, right? That it's that simple. But all jokes aside, the unboxing experience was great, and immediately after you unbox it, you feel like you've made a great purchase decision. So if you did not know, my main keyboard is a Kinesis Advantage 2. I've actually done a video on it, so you can check it out. I think it's there, or there, or there, or there. I don't know where YouTube's going to put it, but YouTube will put it somewhere. Watch a video on it. Do it. I know you want to. So that keyboard is great. And the main reason I use that keyboard is due to wrist pain. So I have quite bad wrist pain, and maybe spending like 5-12 hours even more on a computer a day. Cries and having no social life. And it's also one of the reasons I switched to Dvorak, by the way. All the vowels and consonants on the home row. I'm pretty sure 30% of all typing can be done on QWERTY's home row. 70% of all typing can be done on Dvorak's home row. In fact, you know what? Here's a typing video of me typing on Dvorak, by the way. So the main reason I use the Kinesis Advantage 2, by the way, is there's over a regular style keyboard such as the Tko, which isn't like so much like a regular keyboard, but it's like a standard keyboard you'd find some sort of gamer or most people have nowadays, some sort of mechanical keyboard, and it may be 60%. That's a very common form factor with gamers these days. So as the Kinesis, basically what it does is, I'm not going to go too into details, I have a whole video on it, but basically separates the keyboard and it has concavity, and a concavity, baby. Concavity is basically, look, do this right now with your wrist. If you take your wrist like this, like resting, and that hurts, doesn't it? That hurts me. But if you go like this, that feels a lot more comfy. What a concavity is, your wrist kind of go like a swish, and your wrists have somewhere to rest. And also, you to put your arms like this. What's happening over here is you have 2 bones. I forget what they're called, but you have 2 bones basically scissoring, going like this, and that's an ergonomic no-no. So the Kinesis does basically at an angle, so your hands aren't like that and they aren't twisting. Therefore, your 2 bones aren't overlapping, and it's ergonomic as fuck, baby. So when it comes to the Kinesis Tko, the Tko is not ergonomic, and it's not aimed at ergonomics, to be honest with you. Although, because it's not being ergonomic, I did feel wrist pain. So for the first week, I was using it as my main keyboard on Linux, but I had to go back to my Advantage 2 as my main keyboard on Linux, as I was just feeling too much wrist pain. So now the Tko is my primary keyboard on macOS, and see, I use them both kind of equally, but Linux is probably just a bit more. So I still get quite a lot of time with this keyboard, but because of the way the keyboard's designed, it's not really meant for ergonomics compared to the Advantage 2. I've used an old wrist rest I had from an old Keychron keyboard, just so my wrist don't hurt when I'm using it. So when I'm gaming or anything, I'll just have a wrist rest there. And also, Kinesis, if you're watching this, I've got a little thing for you guys. You should start sending wrist rests for this keyboard, because I don't know about many people, but for me, the keyboard felt a bit like high, kind of up. My wrist was hurting typing on it, and once I added this wrist rest, which is kind of ugly. Let's not lie, this is kind of ugly, and it's also too wide, and it doesn't go high enough up for the Kinesis. But once I added this, even though it's not perfect, my wrist felt a lot better typing on there. So Kinesis, you guys, in my opinion, should be making some wrist rests for the TKO, as it just feels so much nicer to type with a wrist rest on this compared to no wrist rests. Well, I'm not really what you'd say like a big gamer, and the most gaming I do, well, most of the time, is sweating on skywalls and bed walls on Hypixel with the boys. So when I do sweat on skywalls and bed walls with the boys on Hypixel, the keyboard is great for gaming. I mean, why wouldn't it be? So with the keyboard, the spacebar, this is like, it's one of its coolest and biggest features. It's a spacebar, it's actually 3 separate spacebars. So by default, when I'm in productivity mode, happens is my spacebar to the left is mapped as my shift key. So custom Dvorak, by the way. Basically, my regular, if I press 1, that's actually plus for me. So if I wanted to actually use the 1 key, I have to press shift 1. So I map the far left space key to shift 1. Not shift 1, to shift. So I can press shift 2, and now it'll actually give me the number 2 instead of the squared bracket. So that's that. And then the middle spacebar, I have mapped to command, because on Mac, it's like control. On Windows, you're using command a lot. When I was on Linux, that was mapped to alt, I think. So on my tiling window manager and stuff. And on Mac, I've just mapped up to commands like command C, command V, command this, command that, a lot of commands. Then the far right spacebar is just mapped to space, as I'm used to pressing space on my far right thumb due to the Kinesis advantage too. And if you couldn't tell, I love Kinesis' products and everything they do. So I think Kinesis' products are great. And yes, I do occasionally play some other games, literally just Splitgate, but when I play Splitgate on my PS4, I don't have a PS5, I'm sorry. I'm rocking the PS4 life, but when I play Splitgate on my PS4, as I ain't using a controller, I'm going to be able to get some fancy PC, but I am playing keyboard and mouse, so I obviously connect this keyboard, and the keyboard is great when it comes to playing Splitgate and everything. It feels nice, and then so what I do in gaming is I put the left spacebar as space, when I put the middle spacebar as my shift in Splitgate, and in Minecraft keep it to the actual shift key, which is crouch basically, because in Minecraft when I'm speed bridging it's a lot faster to go like boom 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 boom, even though I'm terrible at speed bridging, don't quote me. But on Splitgate and stuff, you're not always shifting and jumping at the same time. There's not speed bridging or anything like that. So I've just mapped the middle spacebar to shift basically, and I can even map the last one if I really wanted to, but I can't think of anything to map it to right now. If I really wanted to, I could map it to something like Switch Weapon, or if you're in a game like CSGO, I think that you can talk to one another via proximity. You could probably map it to maybe mute yourself, something cool like that. The keyboard build is fully aluminum, and this gives it a nice heft. When I say nice heft, I mean a good heft there, baby. And along with being aluminum, the keyboard also has an open keycap design. At least that's what I think it's called. Basically, if you look at something like a keyboard K6, which was my old keyboard I used before this, keyboard K6 has a thing, basically the edge where it goes up a bit. This bad boy, it doesn't go up on the edge at all. You can see them. You can see them key switches, girl. And you can lick them key switches. And what keyboard these days would be complete? I was aiming for gamers about having RGB. You heard me right. This keyboard has RGB. The holy grail for every gamer out there. Personally, I don't keep the RGB on, but the RGB does look good when I do have it on. And of course, if you're into that gamer look, you could turn on the RGB by pressing function and T, and boom, your RGB is on or it's off. T stands for toggle. I wonder if that was planned. Oh, and if you may be thinking, if I'm in Dvorak Cormac, he uses Cormac, but if you're in any of his custom different keyboard layouts, Dvorak Spirit, fight me. If you're on any of his other keyboard layouts, and then if you want to do like a little, front arrow, or a little back arrow, side arrow, left arrow, you want to do a little toggle the lighting, it's actually the QWERTY version, not the Dvorak version. So you press QWERTY T or QWERTY I over Dvorak I or Dvorak T in obviously the more superior space. As I mentioned previously, the keyboard comes with a USB-C connector out of the box. This USB-C connector is a very nice braided connector. Now, I don't have a length off the top of my head, but I can assure you, it's a long boy. Long boy. From the feel of the cable feels very high quality, and also, unlike most cables these days, The keyboard doesn't have any branding at all, which is really nice. There's one little bit on the side that it has the Kinesis logo. It's really nice and minimal though. It's the Kinesis Gaming logo, by the way, not the regular Kinesis logo. So I'm pretty sure Kinesis Gaming is like a parent company. I don't know how it works, but that's what I think. As I mentioned before, the Kinesis comes with 3 options for switch: whites, reds, or browns even. So with all these switches, which one would you pick? So I'm not normally a fan of clicky switches, but my friend, who I got into keyboards but now is a way bigger keyboard nerd than me, was like, dude, you gotta check out the Cali Whites, dude. Cali Whites. I'm like, chill, I'll check out them Cali Whites, bro. Anyways, and then Cali Whites are the best thing ever invented since sliced bread. Quote me on that. I don't like blues. I hate cherry mix blues, but these Cali Whites just feel chef's kiss. They just feel so good to type on. And you may be thinking, where's sound test? I'm not gonna do a sound test. The reason is I don't have the best microphone. I don't have the best quality. So I'm gonna find a video and link it there, or there, or there, wherever YouTube decides to put it. A video with a sound test from Cali Whites, and if I can hopefully find it in a Kinesis Tko. If I can't find it, it'll just be Cali Whites. But they'll give you an idea of what Cali Whites sound like. I really hope that Kinesis let us get Cali Whites or any other Cali or any other type of switch other than just Cherry MX Red and Browns even, when the Kinesis Advantage 360 comes out. And by the way, I'm looking forward to that keyboard. Believe me, there will be a review on that keyboard, as that keyboard looks amazing of what we've seen. If you were to order a keyboard and get Cali Whites and you decide for some weird reason you don't like Cali Whites, 1, Poke Maria, why? But second of all, if you don't like your Cali Whites, what you could do is you could actually sorry, I'm just thinking who would do this, but I'm joking. You can do it. I'm joking, but the tool comes in a box. You can literally pull out the switch and put in a new switch. That's right, it's hot swappable, baby. You can put in your own switches. You can lube the Cali Whites. God, why would you lube a clicky switch? But you can if you want to. The keyboard came with some pretty nice looking keycaps. I'm pretty sure are PBT. I don't think they're double shot, but they feel good quality, and I like them. So that's that segment. Yeah, that's a whole segment to do with the keycaps. Just like the Advantage 2, as I mentioned before, you can do remaps on this bad boy. Therefore, as I already mentioned before, I have Spacebar's remaps. That's primarily all I've remapped right now. But you can remap anything. And you can also do onboard macros, I think? Yeah, you can. You can do onboard macros, which is really cool. I don't use it personally, but that's cool. On my Kinesis Advantage 2, by the way, I don't use the delete key, okay? And pressing shift like this, hurts my fingers. Like, no, I don't want to oof to the side there. So my delete key is shift, just boom, boom, boom. That's a remap. My page up and page down keys, I never use those. So page down goes back a tab, and page up goes forward a tab, just using control tab and control shift tab to go back, control shift tab to go back, and control tab to go forward. Pretty self-explanatory and actually pretty great. So, as I mentioned a lot for this video, I use Dvorak, by the way, and Dvorak is obviously the best keyboard layout ever invented. But by the way, I'm being sarcastic if you can't tell. Like, so some statistics saying Cormac's better. I don't know, I haven't used Cormac, but from my experience, Dvorak's like 20 times better than Quate. Anyways, I'm not going to go into detail about my Dvorak layout, but basically I use a Dvorak layout called Real Programmers Dvorak, made by the Primogen, link in the description. It's a lot better than a regular Dvorak, a lot better than Programmers Dvorak. Seriously, whose idea was it to put, 0, like 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how the numbers go, like 0, 1, 7, 9, 6, 3, 2, I don't know how the numbers go, but it's disabled, literally. And then your brackets, like, you got square brackets over here, then you got quaddy brackets over here. No, it's just like, no, square bracket open, square bracket close in my layouts, squirrely bracket, weird bracket, I forget what it's called, other bracket, I forget what it's called, symbol you press when you're holding shift and 7 on regular keyboard layout, and equals. I don't know what half the symbols are called, but I used them. Oh, and also, before I got the keyboard, I was worried about how would I press my $ and my tilde key, because that's where escape is now, and I have to press function to get it. Well, as I mentioned before, pressing that function. So, those are my thoughts on the Kinesis Tko after 1 month of daily use. Thank you so much, Kinesis, for sending this keyboard over for review. And as always, thank you for watching, and see you later, friends.